Hello, race fans, and welcome to the Zwift Duathlon League, season number 3, race number 2 in a 6-week series. We will be in France this week on the Route de Grande Vitesse, or RGV course. Well, at least I think that's how that's pronounced. But that translates roughly to high-speed road. As you can see, the course is fairly flat, so we should be able to get some good distance on this over the 35 minutes of our bike ride. But with that being said, let's get to the race. Normally, I log into these races early. I join the event early, and that gives me a position on the front line of the grid. But I saw this race and saw that there were only 50 people in it, and I thought, let me see how I could do starting from the back. Was it a massive crowd that I had to go through? I was going to have to push a little bit more power in the early beginning just to get by people, but I thought it would be worth it in this race to give it a shot. As you can see, it didn't take me long to get out ahead to a good position where I could settle in and just do my thing. I was doing around about 5 watts per kilogram early on in this event. I thought, well, maybe that was a bit much. I didn't know if it was going to come to bite me in the butt later on in the race, but I felt good. My legs felt good. My seat was in the right height, so I wasn't straining my hamstrings. So I just was going to let things progress and do what they were going to do. I actually let my daughter watch my video from last week, and she said, "Dad, this is just too long." Yeah, that's coming from a kid who looks at a lot of TikTok videos. Well, this is going to be a little 20-second video. But with that little comment from her, I decided I'm not going to let the parts that I speed up play out. I'm just going to skip towards the end of the race, where you only see about the last minute or so of both the bike ride and the run. So time to jump forward. Okay, with about a minute to go, we jump back into the action, and I did start to fade a little bit. So that early on effort kind of affected me in this ride. My legs were fine, my hamstrings were fine. I wasn't feeling any pain, but I definitely started to slow down. But with about, I'd say, 5 minutes or so to go, I did start to pick my pace back up. I got passed by a bunch of guys. I caught some of them again and passed them, and just at this point, I'm just trying to work my way into a good finish. I want to do over 24.5 kilometers, and I only had about 15 seconds or so to go, so I knew I had a little bit of work to do. After hitting 24.5, I thought maybe I got enough time to squeeze out one more 10, because every point counts, and boom, just like that, race done, timer's done. 24.6, I'll take it. Time to move on over to the run. For the most part, I was able to get my heart rate calmed down, settle in. Actually did a little bit of stretching of my calves and my hamstrings before the start of this race. Did a little bit of walking just to get myself moving and to make sure I was okay. Did one little pick up and slow down. Just wanted to be set to go, so that when the gate dropped, I was able to just start off with the pace that I wanted to hold and then slowly build off of that. I knew I wasn't going to be running any amazing paces like I've done in season 1, but as long as I was somewhere around 3:30 and 3:20, maybe sneak into the teens a little bit towards the end, I was going to be good and I was going to have a good run time. So let's get on with this run. Okay, after about a minute, the legs felt good. I felt like I was doing the pace that I wanted to do. Wanted to get it a little bit lower, but I figured I had a little bit more time to go before I can start to really try and reel it in. There are a couple of flyers on here that went out with breakneck paces, and I wasn't going to try and go with those guys. Not too worried about position. All I'm worried about is how far I can get in this 15 minutes. My goal today was to do at least 4.2 kilometers, which would have been better than I did last week and would actually give me a few more points to boost up my standings. So with that being said, I'm just going to skip this on to the end. With about a minute to go, I got passed by one guy and that dropped me down to 4th. I probably could have ran his pace and stayed with him, but I was not going to chase. I've been doing a lot of racing over the last few weeks, and racing, workouts, riding, running, real races, virtual races, and I just did not feel like pushing any more than I was doing now. So I knew I was going to get that 4.2 that I wanted, so at this point, just keep at it, stay with my game plan, finish this off strong, and see how I finished off in the overall standing. I actually looked up and noticed that my heart rate wasn't in the red. It had never gone into red. So with about 10 seconds to go, I gotta sprint this. There's no point holding it back. I gotta sprint this. Gotta have a sprint. So let's do this. And with that sprint, race is over. Duathlon number 2, done and dusted. And I'm actually satisfied with how I did. Actually, I'm more than satisfied with how I did this round. I improved my bike and I improved my run. Pulled off a 4.3. Haven't done that in a run in a while, and I will take it. I think my best is like a 4.6. I'm a little too long in the season to pull off a 4.6, so I will take this 4.3 and an increase in my overall points in the standings for my age group. For the overall, I've moved up into 11th place overall, which is awesome. I will take it. If I can pull off a top 10 this season, that is my goal. Top 10 overall this season is my goal, and I'm going to get it. So with that, race number 2, done and dusted. Thanks for dropping in, peeps. Have a good one.